on this episode of Mythbusters.
I just had one of those, what the hell are we doing moments.
It's Buster versus Gravity as we put his new body to the test. Jamie and Adam come to the aid of thirsty partygoers
Oh, it feels nice and frosty.
as they search for the fastest way to cool a six-pack. And the build team puts bodies on the line in search of ancient electricity. Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Heineman.
I kind of like it in here. It's private.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
That was intense.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. It's a nightmare on Easy Street. Tailgate party, thirsty people, warm beer.
62 degrees.
What is the fastest way to cool a six-pack?
Well, looks like we have another alcohol-related myth, Jamie.
Does this mean we have to get drunk in the morning again?
I don't think we have to, but you know, maybe we can. This myth actually came to us off the Discovery website. A fan wrote in saying he had heard that in Vietnam, when they were out in the field and had a warm six-pack that they needed to cool down, they would bury it in the sand, pour a quart of gasoline over it, set the gasoline on fire, and somehow the six-pack, when they dug it up, would be nice and cold.
Well, it sounds like a fun one for us to test.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing more patriotic than gasoline and beer.
Chilling beer. Clearly, the Mythbusters will have to research this one thoroughly. What they need is a field trip.
Jamie, I've got the perfect place for us to experiment with beer, right here, Connecticut Yankee.
They have beer here?
They have lots of beer.
Inside, the Mythbusters Beer Oracle. His name is Fritzy.
So Fritz, have you heard the myth about being able to chill a six-pack of beer by pouring gasoline over the top of beer that's buried in sand?
And setting
lighting
it on
it up.
fire.
No,
You haven't heard that one, huh?
no,
What do you think? Would it work?
no.
Well, Fritz, what's the ideal temperature for a beer?
38 degrees probably,
38?
I'm thinking, yeah.
Okay.
38 golden degrees. Jamie and Adam could spend hours soaking in Fritzy's wisdom. Instead, they'll attempt to cool a six-pack to 38 degrees by setting it on fire.
We've got our sample beach here, and we've got our sample six-pack. We're gonna crack a beer open, see what its temperature is. Then we're gonna put it in the sand, pour a quart of gas over it, set it on fire. Immediately after the fire goes out, we're gonna pull out a beer, measure the temperature again, and see if there was any drop in the temperature.
The theory is that in the same way evaporating water sucks heat out of its surroundings, the burning gas will suck lots of heat out of the beer.
It's 65.4 degrees. We want to bring it down to somewhere around 40 degrees or slightly under that. All right, standing by the gasoline?
Or is it right here?
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to put more than a quart in there. Okay.
All right, light it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that's spectacular. This thermometer we have under here is actually measuring the temperature of the sand about where the beer is. It's now at 66 degrees. It's gone down about a quarter of a degree since the fire started.
But maybe through some mysterious thermal exchange, the beer has become icy cold.
68 degrees, so it has warmed it up.
Or maybe not.
So this technique yielded a warm, gasoline-soaked, sandy beer. This is pretty much the very last thing I want to bring near my lips at the beach.
So the gas fire-cooled six-pack myth is busted. But maybe there's a better way.
I bet there's some really nifty ways of chilling down a beer really quickly.
I would have to agree, but I think we should start by getting a really good benchmark as to how long it takes a normal six-pack to cool down, like in a refrigerator, in a freezer, in a cooler. So why don't we do a bunch of trials on a six-pack and see what the standard cooling times are.
So in hot pursuit of the fastest way to chill a six-pack, the Mythbusters will compare several methods. The fridge and freezer, of course, and some more party-friendly options. Coolers with ice, ice and water, and ice, water, and salt.
Let me see if I can tell the difference between these two.
Adding salt melts ice and lowers the water's freezing point.
Yeah, I gotta say this one is more painful.
So you get much colder water.
Wow, the difference is really clear. The ice and water is 33 degrees. The ice, water, and salt is 24 degrees.
Well, I'll be darned. Chemistry at work.
Let's see what a baseline room temperature of beer is. What do you know? It's the temperature of the room. 62 degrees. That's exactly what we've got there.
They'll time when each method reaches drinking temperature of between 37 and 40 degrees, checking the beer's temperature every 5 minutes, in much the same way a thirsty partygoer might.
38 seconds. Okay. Waiting another 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Which gives them just enough time to try a less conventional method.
I can't see a damn thing. Hold on.
This kind of fire extinguisher is full of liquid carbon dioxide under pressure. When it's released, it expands into a gas, cooling the air around it and forming ice.
All right, so it's been about 2-3 minutes here. Let's see how much it cooled this beer down. Oh, it feels nice and frosty.
$37.
37 degrees is actually a nearly ideal beer temperature.
If you do have one and you're willing to spend maybe, 30 bucks on having your beer cooled now, then I guess you could do that, and it's fairly effective.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So 3 minutes to drinking temperature, fire extinguisher assistant. How are the other tests doing after 5 minutes?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Popping out a beer.
Wow.
What?
Salt water, 35.9 degrees.
Wow! Salt water's done.
Yeah.
30, wait.
The regular ice water,
degrees?
44 degrees,
Okay.
and regular ice, 57 degrees.
4. How much? Cooler with ice, 57?
Yeah.
The freezer and fridge are at 55 and 60 degrees. So, partygoers, if you've only got 5 minutes, salt water and ice is the answer.
So the ice and water and salt is done. We're done with that. We've reached the target temperature and a little bit more.
Science plus beer equals good.
As for the rest, the cooler with ice and water was next best at 15 minutes. Then the freezer at 25. Just ice took half an hour. And if the fridge is your only hope, maybe invite the gang back tomorrow.
Well, we got some not so impressive and some impressive times to cool down a six-pack. But the CO2 fire extinguisher beat everything hands down at 3 minutes.
Well, so are we going to be able to improve on these with our own little inventions?
Well, that's our challenge. Can we build a device that can cool a six-pack down in less than 3 minutes?
Well, looks like it's back to the machine shop.
Time to get to work.
The Mythbusters build team is on the trail of a mystery. A strange battery-like jar that dates back 2,000 years. Could it be true? Was there ancient electricity?
Wait a minute, we have...
Fried our...
This myth hinges on a single credible, seemingly credible piece of archaeological evidence.
In the 1930s, an urn was found in Baghdad, and it dated to somewhere between 250 BC to 250 AD. And what they found in this urn was a copper pipe, an iron rod in the center. It had a cork made of asphalt at the top, and residue of an acidic liquid on the inside. So all of these things point to this being an ancient battery.
Is this a 2,000-year-old battery? Supposedly batteries were only invented 200 years ago. It's an urn containing an iron rod inside a copper pipe, suspended in acid. To test this story, the build team will make their own, and if it works, try to find out what it might have been used for. First stop, the pots.
Scott, have you ever tried to throw a pot before?
At a person or like on a wheel?
Obviously, you're a pottery expert.
I'd rather throw china, it's sharper.
John Delwad cheerfully admits he doesn't know a darn thing about ancient batteries, but pots.
My guess would be that they're using terracotta, which is just pretty much what they dig up out of the ground.
So, Terracotta Pottery 101 is in.
I think I'm gonna end up sweaty, messy with a really nice ashtray for my mom.
Under John's guiding hand, they'll make pots 6 inches high with a 1.5-inch hole in the top.
Straight across the bottom.
And yes, for the record, he does get asked about that movie Ghost all the time, so don't.
I think this is a fun myth to do. I mean, we're using history, we're putting a little science to it.
In the end, 10 terracotta pots get made.
Look at my pot.
Now, to turn them into batteries. Remember, there was an iron bar and a copper tube inside the pots. And that matters because different metals have different electrical properties.
First, we have 2 different kinds of metals here. Zinc, and this would be copper. And they work as electrodes, and lemon works as an electrolyte. So, let's use our little voltmeter and see if we can get some sort of charge out of this lemon.
This is a classic school science experiment. The acidic lemon juice is stripping electrons off the copper, and they're flowing to the zinc, creating an electric current.
It looks like we're getting almost a volt out of just this lemon. The problem is, Baghdad Battery said that they used iron and copper, so I'm gonna see if you can possibly get a charge with these 2 metals. Well, it's substantially less. You get about 1/3 of the volts you can get with zinc as you can get with iron.
So the iron-powered battery makes a lemon look good. The results are similar with other possible ancient acids like grape juice and vinegar.
In the grape juice, we are getting 0.89.
But ever the optimists, the build team goes into mass construction mode.
That is beautiful. Lemon juice stings when it gets in your eye. That's a nice, tight fit. Now I'm gonna test the voltage. 0.269. That's not a lot. The lemon gave us more than that.
1/3 of a volt. A shocker by any definition.
Oh wait, yeah, there was a little bit of a shock.
Yeah, how do you think they would get this idea? Okay, I'm gonna take this clay pot, I'm gonna stick an iron rod in the center, and then I'm gonna make a plug of pitch and put a copper tube around the outside and get it to do absolutely nothing.
Perhaps they'll do better by wiring all 10 of their new batteries together.
All right, here comes the moment of truth. Wait a minute, we have...
Fried our... Hey!
Holy, we have 4 volts! 3 volts!
Oh, yeah! We did it.
A picture of efficiency this ain't. As big as a rack of bowling balls, as powerful as a half-dead flashlight. But it is a battery, an ancient battery. And now the question needs to be answered, what was it used for? The Mythbusters are turning their collective brain power to the needs of the party-going public. Can they make a machine to chill a six-pack in under 3 minutes? Adam's idea is a kind of chilling funnel, a copper tube coiling through dry ice.
You pour the beer in here, we'll have a funnel here, and it'll go through the coil and come out here, hopefully, the perfect temperature.
Jamie, meanwhile, is taking a different approach. By heating up a metal sheet,
It's much softer.
he's able to bend it around into a tight coil.
It's not real neat, but there's a lot of surface area in there, and so what I'm intending to do is first dip this into liquid nitrogen and then into the beer.
It's called a heat sink. The supercooled metal will be dipped into the beer, drawing out the heat, and hopefully leaving it perfectly chilled.
Look at that.
You didn't shake these up, did you?
No,
Okay,
I
good.
promise.
Thank you.
Didn't. No, I swear. Now I know you won't believe me. I had to goof the camera. That's cool. How did you do that? I know you don't necessarily appreciate the competition thing, but I have to say, it's never not entertaining to me to see how different the solutions you and I can come up with are. I mean, it's always really fascinating.
What will be fascinating is seeing if either of these ideas actually work.
The sound of metal. It's the sound metal makes against dry ice. I've got a room temperature beer. I've got an empty glass, which I'm gonna put under here. And I gotta attach my funnel. Timing now.
So warm beer goes in here and should come out cold here.
Interesting. Come on, come on. All right, well, I see that the first problem I have is actually I got the beer too cold. My coil is so cold, I can tell that it's probably freezing the beer on its way down, which is why it doesn't just immediately start pouring out. Now that is one cold beer. It's at 32 degrees. I mean, it's ice, ice, cold, baby.
Well, I've finished my beer chiller, even put a handle on it so I won't chill my hands. And the idea is that this will get dipped into either liquid nitrogen or some other substance that will cool it down, then I'll dip this in a beer.
Liquid nitrogen, the bartender's friend. Its temperature is a brisk minus 320 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay. Whoa! Everything's creaking. Bummer. It only took it down a few degrees. I think most of the beer ended up right there. I guess I got to leave it in there for a little while longer.
It seems as bartenders, Jamie and Adam make very good Mythbusters. They've both got work to do before the final chill-off.
All right, let's try this again.
The build team has made its ancient batteries. They're weak, but the challenge now is to find out what they might have been used for.
Well, through our research, we've actually come up with 3 different possibilities of what this electricity could have been used for. One of them is electroplating.
Well, good work.
Well, the next one is pain relief through acupuncture needles. And the third is experiencing God.
Well, that one sounds the most likely to me. I mean, you've got this weird stuff that's, look what happens, you know, it can give you a shock. They're not going to understand where it's from, and so put it to some religious use.
Clearly, there was some serious head-scratching going on in the research department. But so be it. The build team will test the ancient battery's potential for electroplating, pain relief, and divine intervention. First, electroplating. It uses an electric current to coat a metal object with another metal by drawing particles out of a salt solution. In this case, coating copper with zinc. Some of the ancient batteries will provide the charge.
You can see the little bubbles forming. I'm pretty sure that means it's working.
They'll leave the electroplating overnight and use the time to check out the second possibility, pain relief.
Do you feel hurts?
And the needle?
Uh-huh.
That wasn't too bad.
Therapeutic acupuncture has been around for more than 2,000 years. For the last 50 years or so, a low-voltage, pulsing electrical current has been added to help relieve pain.
Oh, something. I feel my chi moving.
Yeah.
My chi is moving.
So, used correctly, electricity does seem to offer pain relief. But what about the ancient batteries? Are they even safe?
But I gotta worry something. I never tried this kind of battery. Looks big. I would rather you put on my arm first.
All right.
Yeah?
The inside. Put it harder.
So, having put himself on the line with no ill effects, Dr. Han agrees to jumpstart Scotty.
Did you feel it?
Yeah, I do feel it, totally.
What do you feel?
It's kind of like the other one, but it's more random. It's like,
Wow.
the top one's kind of burning.
Maybe we should take it off.
Ow, the top, take the top one off. Maybe it's the tape.
This
No,
one?
yes, take it off. Ow! The top one started heating up, like started feeling like a needle being poked in further and further.
There was no harm done, but what did they learn?
I could see maybe using it as a torture device.
I think that it's possible that this is what they were using that battery for. I know that maybe it may not be used in this manner, but I really do think that people did use shock in muscles to stimulate them.
Adam and Jamie are facing the beer challenge. Build a machine to cool a six-pack to below 40 degrees in less than 3 minutes. Adam's coiled a copper pipe through dry ice. Warm beer in the top, hopefully cold brew out the bottom.
Come on, come on.
Jamie's made a heat sink, a spiral metal plate which he'll dip in liquid nitrogen before dunking in the beer. For the final test, they've returned to the bar, where beer oracle Fritzy will be judge. Adam will go first.
All right, so I found the dry ice just made the coil too cold, so I'm actually going to add real ice. Oh! And add some real ice around the coil and some salt.
This thing's gonna leak all over the bar, and it already is. 3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. I have to go to the bathroom. All right, there we go. Testing the temperature.
It's still flowing.
Oh, man. My ice only got it to 46 degrees.
That won't cut it.
I drink it, but it's not real cold.
Adam's cooler has failed the Fritzy test. Well over a minute for one can, and the beer was 10 degrees too warm. Now it's Jamie's turn.
You ready for the liquid nitrogen?
Yes, I am. If you'll grab one side, I'll do the tip.
I like that rig, but it's kind of spooky. Let's see what it does to a beer.
In 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, yeah! Jamie, you didn't tell us about that part.
I just did.
It's not quite that bad. That's shocking. 17 seconds. 20 seconds. Did you just freeze the whole beer?
Well, the last time I lowered it in a little bit more gingerly. This time it foamed it up quite a bit.
That's amazing.
So you're ending up with a perfectly cooled 1/3 of a beer. There you go.
I don't think it quite got it.
I don't think you quite got it. Looks like you're at around 43 degrees at 1:15. Why don't you let Fritzy try this?
Well, Fritzy, are you ready to try my super chilled beer?
I can't wait. There's chunks of ice in it. Good gosh. Big stick, no love. It's not real warm. I mean, it's not real cold. Colder than that one, though.
Much as I don't mind having an excuse to have a beer in the morning, I'm actually a little disappointed with us in this one. This is one of the very first times we've actually failed at building a device that performed up to our expectations.
Yeah, well, we did come up with the CO2 fire extinguisher approach, and that worked better than anything by far.
I'll give us that, but for the record, burying a six-pack, pouring gasoline on it, and setting it on fire?
Yep, totally busted. It's a bad idea, it's dangerous, it pollutes. Not the way to chill your beer.
The Mythbusters are fulfilling a promise. They made it to Cadillac Bend way back when he donated Earl the caddy to the show.
You saw us on TV and you figured, I'll take it to them. They'll blow it up.
I was hoping, yeah.
We will do our best.
They tried by shooting Earl's gas tank. No luck. And now Jamie has a hankering.
Well, I've destroyed a few cars in my day, but I have never dropped one from the top of a very tall crane.
So Jamie's got an itch, but there's a hitch. They want Buster along for the ride. And frankly, he's not up to the challenge. Before Earl gets dropped, the Mythbusters have a mission.
I think it's time we rebuild him from the ground up.
Well, you know, I wouldn't have necessarily thought it was possible when we started the season with him, but after having gone inside his mechanics so many times to rebuild them, I feel like we could build him a completely new skeleton and completely new body.
Crash test dummies are designed for impacts up to 80 Gs. Buster's taken 5 times that. Buster 2.0 will be tougher and easier to repair. There was a sneak preview in the Buster special, but now the nuts and bolts of his rebuild. First, the skeleton. His new joints are shaped out of cast aluminum, and the bones between are poplar wood. Turns out that breaks at a similar pressure to human bones. So when Earl hits the deck, they'll know what really would have broken in a person.
Hey, Jamie,
Yeah.
check this out.
Well,
That's not bad for 2 days' work.
yeah, and it's actually quite beautiful, I think. The key things that make this Buster better are that he's constructed almost entirely out of blocks of aluminum that are really quite massive, and so they're going to be very strong. They'll take a good impact without breaking or jamming. All of the components are loose fitting, again, so that on impact or anything like that, that they won't jam. And then lastly, it's all made so that anything that does get broken or messed up, we can get to it really quickly and easily, make another part without any, fussing. Well, what's next?
Well,
Flesh?
I think it's time to figure out what kind of actual flesh body to put on him.
Well, I know of a really tough silicone rubber. It's called Dragon Skin. And so when it comes to silicone rubber, I'm your guy. I think we can take care of that pretty easily.
We only have a couple of days, so I'm thinking actually foam carvings, vacuum form molds, knock them all out in one big pour. It's a lot of silicone, but I think we can do it.
So to put meat on Buster's new bones, first Adam will make foam carvings of each body part. They'll use those to make plastic molds and fill them with silicone rubber. years of model making means hand carving an entire human body, no problem.
Well, I am actually making some of the first foam body parts for our new Buster, which will then be molded and cast in rubber. So this is actually new Buster's calf.
So far, so good. But new Buster's belly has them chewing the fat.
Didn't Buster have a little bit more definition than that? He looks a little kind of blobby.
I'm giving him a little more definition now. You know, I just thought if he had some love handles, it wouldn't be so bad.
I mean, you're trying to make him look like you.
Yeah. Why not? I can make him in my own image. Now I'm going off the Jamie model. The Greek god.
A Greek god? There's a form worth preserving in plastic.
Yeah, what's going to happen here is we're going to melt this plastic right above my head. We're going to heat it up until it's really flippy-floppy, like a piece of cloth. Then we are going to lower it down over these forms, turn on a vacuum under this table. It's called vacuum forming. And the plastic will cool down and take the shape of these forms, which will then become our molds. Look at that!
Adam quite likes this part.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. Nice. Mold making's done.
Now, enter the dragon skin.
Looks like we're making crash test dummy custard. Are we making the world's largest Jell-O dummy here?
No, this is a mix of polyorganosiloxanes and amorphous silica.
That doesn't sound very appetizing.
No, it'd be a little tough and chewy, I think.
This stuff is tough. When it sets, it'll be able to withstand almost any impact and won't burn, even under a blowtorch. Buster will be one tough, pink ombre.
I don't like the pink. It's a little creepy.
Yeah, it's a little creepy, but so is what we do to Buster.
Maybe you'll get a suntan after a while.
So this is the last bit of rubber going into new Buster's chest right now. And we should be pulling him out of his molds later on today, if we're lucky.
Back at the ancient battery testing, Carrie's electroplating has been cooking all night.
Look at this.
Wow! Look at that. It worked.
I can't believe this. Baghdad batteries completely electroplated our medallion.
That is cool.
Well, this actually proves something for us right here. By the fact that we could electroplate with the Baghdad batteries means that's a possible use. That's a possible reason for why these batteries might exist.
Yeah, cool.
If Tori seems underwhelmed by this resounding success, well, he's got a lot on his mind.
Oh, look at that.
Remember, the third possible application the research team came up with for the batteries was for invoking a religious experience. It's quite a big job.
Exodus 25:10. And they shall make an ark of shittim wood, and 2 cubits and a half the height thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth. Okay, well, I guess I got some stuff to work on.
Using instruction from the good book itself, Tori is building the biblical Ark of the Covenant.
What are you making? Oh, I'm building the Ark of the Covenant. Well, a replica. Because it's not the real thing, you know.
But the fun hasn't even started yet. On top will be 2 golden angels, which are Carrie's domain.
Jamie and Adam, aren't they little angels?
The Ark is painted gold, the angels covered in gold leaf. They plan to connect the batteries and shock an unsuspecting victim. But it takes 100 volts to produce a noticeable zap. They just don't have enough juice.
All right, so basically, those Baghdad batteries aren't going to give us the voltage that we need to shock Adam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up the red snapper. It's the cattle prodding, the cattle electrified fence device. We used this earlier. I'm going to hook this up to the Angels, and hopefully this will give us a shock that we need.
They used this same gadget for the third rail revisit.
Oh, there we go. I got a shot. It was nothing. It was nothing.
It seemed harmless enough then.
Okay, let me try.
We want a really decent shock. We want Adam's hair to stand up on it.
But his hair is so short.
Oh.
We can't do that to Adam.
Somehow, back then, Adam must have avoided the full jolt. It's high voltage, but low amps, so it's not fatal, but it hurts.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what was the electrocution pain on that one?
I would say 211.
Seriously, it hurt that bad?
Do it.
Oh my God! Holy! I feel like I just got punched in the chest.
There is no way we're doing this to Adam. That was unbelievable.
The final test is a dilemma. The ancient batteries are too weak to invoke a religious experience. But in good conscience, can they use the painful fence shocker on an unsuspecting Adam?
I'm gonna leave it up to you. I say we leave it. This decision is entirely in Carrie's hands.
Buster's getting his new body ahead of being dropped 60 feet in Earl the Caddy. Buster 2.0 will be like a rubbery, pink Frankenstein's monster.
Great. Coming out really good.
Oh, I think it's gonna fly.
You know, it's also good and bouncy.
I gotta say, it looks a lot more flesh-like than what was in the original dummy because that was foam-filled. This has got mass to it. You know, it's like...
This is Buster's new back. The old Buster had most of his weight in his frame. We've put a good portion of his weight back into his flesh. So this is a good probably 12 or 13 pounds of rubber here. And that's gonna sit right on there like that.
For easy removal and repair, each body part is molded in 2 halves. They're glued together on one side like a clamp, then secured around the limb with plastic ties.
He's a little meatier than he was before. But I think this seam system is actually working out quite nicely.
Got good mobility.
He does. It's very realistic. Appendectomy.
I still feel really bad that we haven't had time to fix his face.
You still don't get it, do you?
Get what?
He's Buster. This is the throughput from old Buster to new Buster.
Yeah, this is all we're gonna see. We just put all this work into this thing, and you'll never know it. And all you will know is that he looks like some kind of a burn victim.
They will know because they're filming it right now.
Well, I thought it would be nice to have the real face on it.
Yeah, but
We are going to replace this.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Well, it looks like crap. If that's what makes you happy, then I don't care.
Lived in face and all, Buster 2.0 is done. He's more durable, more repairable. And like a conventional crash test dummy, his height and weight are representative of 95% of American men.
He's got really big biceps. Yeah, I'm actually pretty pleased with Buster. I know Jamie always seems to look for the worst in everything. You know, oh, it's a little chesty and it's a little pink and, well, his face is all burnt.
I'm actually pretty proud of what we did with this. I mean, the human body is a difficult thing to replicate.
4.5 days to get this guy out of the molds, out of the machine shop and assembled. I'm pretty impressed.
I defy anybody to point at anything that we did and say that was, you know, a waste of time or overcomplicated. It's all, Buster is all business.
I think he's a really good, viable Mythbusters dummy.
The final test for the ancient battery is a little left field. 2,000 years ago, in a society where electricity was apparently unknown, could an electric shock inspire religious awe?
That'll do it.
The build team made a replica arc and wired it to deliver a shock. Adam knows that.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Is it godlike?
That is magnificent.
What he doesn't know is they might have replaced the ancient batteries with an electric fence transformer.
Incredible.
Which would be the dirtiest trick in myth-busting history.
What do I do?
You approach with disbelief. Hold your hands up to the idols. Look very deeply into God's eyes and grab on.
Now, you guys haven't hooked in the electric fence thing in here, have you?
That would have been a good idea.
All right.
You should be on our team.
I'm reasonably convinced you haven't. Is it ready to go?
Well,
Go ahead.
Okay. Did I just grab anywhere?
I guess.
I don't know. I mean, it like doesn't.
Oh!
Do you feel God?
You did hook up the real thing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Messing with electricity is dangerous at the best of times. And that shock hurts.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Bigger
off.
than you expected.
Did you get the kick in the chest?
Yeah, and the head and the entire body. That was 10,000 volts through my heart.
The build team has shown the ancient batteries do create a charge that can electroplate and potentially be used for pain relief. But promoting a fear of God by using the electric fence transformer, they really only produced a fear of Adam.
Did that feel like God to you? I don't think so.
If you were able to get any kind of tingle out of touching this thing, that it would have had very, very powerful ramifications. Everything that we can't explain is God. Amazing. To me, it sounds like everything you guys have tested is plausible, plausible, plausible.
We're really, 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 really sorry.
It's Earl's big moment, and Buster 2.0 will share it.
Yeah. It's the coming out party for Buster.
They're both about to get a raise.
And Buster's going to take a little ride. Unfortunately for Buster, it's going to be straight down at about maybe 40 or 50 miles an hour from the top of a crane.
You see, the Mythbusters are fulfilling a promise to Cadillac Ben to destroy Earl. And Ben's come along to witness the show.
So when you donated us this car, is this the kind of destruction that you were dreaming of?
I really had no idea what you guys were going to do. Maybe something with explosives, but this is definitely satisfactory. I think it's going to be good.
Good in a bad way. But before anything gets dropped, Earl needs a few modifications.
What are you doing, Scotty?
I think it's broken.
The gas has already been drained, and anything loose has been taken out.
Don't mind me.
They'll use a chain to connect Earl to the crane.
Gold chains, matte black Cadillac.
Bling, bling.
That chain has to be passed through the back seat. But wouldn't you know it, the windows won't wind down. What to do?
What do you got, Scotty?
Well, I have ceramic from a spark plug, and what I've heard is that if you take a piece of broken ceramic and pelt it at a car window, it'll shatter.
Really?
Like magic.
I've heard that. Seems unlikely, though, doesn't it?
Seems unlikely, but I don't know. Let's find out.
Watch your eyes.
Oh, now you think it's gonna work?
No,
Yep, that was on the paint. Not breaking the window.
Scotty, I don't think you're here.
It's busted.
Oh, there you go.
That's how to do it.
All right. All right.
I didn't think that was going to work. That's fantastic.
That would be a myth confirmed.
Do not try this at home.
So they've cleared the way for the chain. Now, Adam has plans for the other end.
This is actually a 10,000-pound quick release. This is what the car will be hanging from. And when we pull the safety pin and release this, the car drops. So I'm just setting up the rigging so that we can do that drop easily and safely.
Goodbye, Guy. We'll see you.
Keep your eyes on the road.
You're on.
Adam, you want to clear out?
This is always the point at which you're like, how's my rigging? How's my rigging? Is everything in place? A lot rides on everything working just the way it should.
Buster and Earl are airborne, but this is tricky and dangerous. That's nearly 2 tons of steel up there, and they need to stop it twisting.
Okay, Carrie, you need to back away here while you're feeding it out.
Okay.
And I'd recommend you go up this way.
Okay.
Okay, stop!
This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
This is terrifying.
I just had one of those, what the hell are we doing moments.
Funnily enough, 60 feet up, Buster 2.0 is having one of those too. Will his new body hold up? Cadillac Ben is getting his wish. From this height, Earl's last drive will be like hitting a wall at 55 miles per hour. It's the perfect crash test for new Buster.
Don't let go.
Okay. And 3, 2, 1.
Man, that was cool.
And once again, Earl's last moments.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Oh my God. Oh, look at that. I'm not sure Buster's gonna be so.
I've never seen anything like that. That's flat as a pancake on the front of the car.
Earl is clearly no more. But how did Buster's brand new body cope with the ultimate crash test?
You can see Buster from this side. He looks really uncomfortable.
Yeah, his head's kind of at an angle.
On the high speed, bottom of frame, you can see he lost an arm on impact.
Oh man. Yeah, he lost an arm completely.
There you go.
Getting the rest of Buster out isn't quite so easy.
There we go. Jamie, that's a broken bone right there.
Well,
that worked like a charm.
I guess he'd be lucky if all he broke was his foot in that particular accident, but
I imagine there might be some head trauma as well.
I think there probably was.
So, everyone's happy. Buster has been completely rebuilt from the ground up and successfully busted again. And Earl, he's just trashed.
So what do you think? Are you satisfied now?
It was way better than expected. I'm extremely satisfied. It's very satisfying.
Well, I think he's passed the car crash test and he's ready for a lifetime of busting myths.
A whole world of pain.
Another lifetime. How many lives is Buster gonna have anyway?
How many episodes are we gonna do?